Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 for our Rate My Fight series. Today we're looking at an arrow versus an arrow. I apologize, sorry, an arrow versus a gladius. And we're looking at myself versus silver. Okay, so I kind of want to go into detail about what's called reversing the fights. I know a few of the guys in the stream were asking about like reversing the fight and what does that mean. Okay, so as we're watching this fight here, I want you to pay close attention to at what point I decide to go from a clockwise to a counterclockwise roll pattern, what prompts me switching between the two, why I switch between the two, and what that effect has on the fight. Okay, so coming into this fight here, we're obviously boom. There's first round in. So let's kind of rewind that and watch that in slow motion and kind of walk through. Now that you understand, kind of like what to look for. Okay, so what I want you guys to kind of focus on here is now that we're going into a clockwise, so rolling to the right view. Look at the enemy tracers. Oh, he's matched my position. Now I roll counterclockwise against him, right? I'm still rolling to get a position into a full pitch shot like I have here. But as he matches me, I then go back into a clockwise movement, right? Now he's tracking me again because he's engaging me with his lasers. Okay, I've noticed this. I'm now going to roll the opposite direction. This behavior is what I call reversing the fight. Is what you're doing is you're reversing the flow of the turn rate. So you're going from a clockwise roll into the target to a counterclockwise roll. And the reason I switch between the two is because when I start receiving effective, and when I say effective applied damage from my enemy, I try to make it as difficult as I possibly can for whoever I'm fighting to apply consistent damage to me. And to do that, I do that with the counterclockwise and clockwise rolls. And every time that my position essentially is matched, I counter with another turn, right, then left, right, then left, right, then left, right? Now, I can add these S turns that you've seen me do in previous videos into that mix to help kind of shake off the target, but that also depends on if I'm tracking a target that's typically fighting at a higher energy. So you'll see a lot of guys fighting at higher speeds, which means their elliptical turns will be very wide. And if they're very wide, it's probably in my best interest as the pilot that's engaging or attacking or pushing onto them to do S turns as I slowly work my way towards the target. That way I'm not doing unnecessary movements that's going to bleed my speed off and reduce my distance, giving them an opportunity to kind of shoot from the outside into my little movement sphere, right? This is what I call fighting inside the bubble. So that being said, now that we've seen the first round, we're going to watch this round. Obviously, we're going to keep it in slow motion here. And I want you guys to look very carefully as to, again, the direction that I'm rolling when I start to counter roll against that, right? So here we go into a corkscrew. You can see my indicator system that tells me what the velocity direction of my ship is. We go right into the first merge here, into a 45-degree turn, pitch and yaw, switching onto my target because I want to get my nose on my enemy as fast as possible. I try to look at the direction that he is moving in. So on my screen, he's moving down into my right. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to roll. So my position is always pulling my nose up. I'm receiving effective fire as I'm coming into this first turn, but I got to close the distance. So I got to keep my bottom thrusters kind of pulling me towards my target. And you'll see my vector indicator is going to slide up towards the center, which I call returning to center, which you heard me talk about before. And now I'm going to reverse the fight into a counterclockwise roll. Now I've been matched. I'm taking hits. So it's my choice here what I want to do with this. I might want to go, you know what? I'm going to stabilize my position and I'm going to start rolling the other direction here. But again, I've got to close the distance, right? Now that I've crossed his nose, I'm going to counterclockwise rotate against him again. It's a little hard to see here with the laser kind of in my face. And again, right, all this while still maintaining sight picture. And this right here was probably one of the best moments in the fight because I pushed aggressively towards my opponent. Then I got a position. Then I started to downstrafe here because I want to extend the amount of time it takes him to kind of fully articulate his nose back onto me. So it bought me a few extra seconds of target time, which do make all the difference in some of these fights. So here we go again into the clockwise positional roll, matching my target, looking, again, right, always moving, never staying static at any point. Never, ever stay static, right? I know it's tough sometimes because you want to get that full trackable shot, but as long as you're moving into the shot and then moving perpendicular to it, like you're kind of swaying back and forth like this right here, It is very much like a dance, right? Roll to the left, cancel momentum, roll to the right, get canceled. No problem. Okay, dance with me to the left. He's track. Oh, he's got me. I've got a good position. I'm gonna extend it. Nice, nice, nice. Boom, get the kill. Right? Like you've got to maintain you've got to maintain the tools in your toolbox, and you've got to kind of, when the opportunities pop up, extend on those opportunities. If he makes a bad turn and he goes against the direction of the fight, if he tries to reverse the flow of the fight and he loses track of his position relative to you, like how he did there just at the end there, then you can take advantage of that by strafing in the opposite direction and extending the amount of time it takes him to kind of now correct his mistake and now start slowly turning back towards me, because I'm orbiting the same direction that he is basically trying to turn into, right? So it's going to buy me some extra time instead of kind of going against his turn rate and then crossing his nose kind of in a seesaw S-shaped pattern motion, right? So all right, guys, so for Silverhawk, what I want to see from you, brother, is I want to see a bigger emphasis on the fundamentals of your flight awareness, of like where your opponent is relative to yourself. Don't get too nervous when you're really close. A lot of times you got too much like forward throttle. You're pushing too hard, which actually causes your extensions to happen because you've created too much energy, and then you have to arrest that motion, and it can be quite difficult, right? So stay smooth, stay in your pitch shots, keep your elliptical momentum going. Don't let the enemy try to juke you off. Just stay calm, stay on target. And when it comes to like the Gladius versus the Arrow, understand that the Gladius does have a higher turn rate by 3 degrees, I think 4 degrees, sorry. So it's when you're tracking in the 45 turn. All right, guys, that's all the tips I got for today. This was a great fight. Silver's been doing really well. To see how far you've come, brother, from even a few weeks ago, it's pretty incredible, right? So if we're playing guys Star Citizen for the next 10, 20 years, you're gonna look back and be like, oh man, yeah, it only took me a few months to quote unquote get good. It flies by, especially if you're doing it with people you enjoy spending time with, and you're working well with the team. This is all the kind of stuff we do here at the Avenger Stream and also here at the Squadron, right? So all right, guys, take a look at Predator mounts. If you're interested in getting a system for your joysticks, they're the ones I use. They're a great mounting system. I hope you guys use the code Avenger1. If you do consider getting it, it'll give you a discount. And also, I hope to see all you folks out for stream. We've been having an absolute blast, even with all the drama and bullshit around the leaderboards now coming out. Battle Royale has become a, well, let's just say Battle Royale has become a failed state. Let's put it that way. But other than that, guys, I have an absolute blast doing this. I have an absolute blast hanging out with all you folks. I hope to see you guys all out for the next stream and the next video. I was Avenger1, and I'll see you next time.